The month is over, and once again, there was a lot to see. We had SummerSlam and TakeOver Brooklyn 4, as well as some great matches on all of WWE's weekly shows. So let's not take any longer and check August's best matches. Ever since The Miz and Daniel Bryan's exchange at Talking Smack 2 years ago, many felt disappointed this rivalry was destined to never have a proper payoff due to Bryan's retirement. Earlier this year, Bryan was cleared up to wrestle, opening up the possibilities for many dream matches, but most importantly, giving these men a chance to reignite their feud for the biggest event of the summer. Their match was mainly focused on Bryan finally getting his hands on The Miz, who used several cheap tactics to get the upper hand, and taunted Bryan by using his offense. Eventually, Bryan fired up and nailed Miz with many of his signature kicks and submission holds. Bryan was firmly in control near the end, but Miz managed to take the win after punching Bryan in the face with a brass knuckle provided by his wife. There was some brilliant storytelling in this match. Both men's performances were superb, and the ending meant this feud is far from over. When Seth Rollins won the Intercontinental title, he began defending it in several open challenges, reminiscent of John Cena's version back in 2015. After regaining the title, he brought back these challenges during Raw's edition in Ontario, Canada. Naturally, Kevin Owens took the opportunity in his home country. Owens was in control for a lot of the match, damaging Rollins' arm several times. Rollins was great too, responding to everything Owens threw at him. Besides hitting his usual moves, Owens applied some less common ones, such as a crossface, a stunner, and a moonsault that proved how desperate he was to get back in track and win the belt. However, it was that moonsault that ended up costing Owens the win. After having such a good performance, Owens' promo where he quit WWE felt more genuine and intrigued several people on where Owens goes from here. Oh, come on! At least we still have that match. SmackDown's tag team division had been in a tough position for quite a while. The Bludgeon Brothers had been booked way too strong, to the detriment of the rest of the tag team division. Thankfully, in the process of determining the challengers for the champions, the New Day and The Bar faced in the finals of a mini tournament. It started slowly, but after the first commercial break, the intensity of the match gradually grew. The moves applied only got riskier as time passed. Cesaro even brought back the Cesaro swing. This level of action, combined with some good near falls, had the crowd at the edge of their seats. The New Day ended up getting the title shot, but both teams were winners after having a match that proved SmackDown's tag team division is still standing strong. Buddy Murphy's success on the Cruiserweight division has easily been one of the most surprising stories of the year. By joining 205 Live, he got the chance to prove what he's capable of, and became one of the division's standout performers. On this edition of 205 Live, he added yet another amazing match to his list. Following an altercation with Kalisto, which I'll touch upon later, these men faced each other, representing their respective teams. Early on, the action was fairly simple, with only a few exciting moments. The quality of the match began picking up the moment Tony Nese and the Lucha House Party were ejected from ringside. From this point on, Kalisto and Murphy had a back and forth brawl, with Murphy hitting some painful looking strikes and power moves, while Kalisto countered Murphy's attacks with amazing high fly moves, notably a picture perfect reverse Hurricanrana. In the end, after teasing several countouts, Murphy nailed Kalisto with his knee, followed by Murphy's Law for the win. Great job once again by the Cruiserweights, and good luck to Buddy Murphy, who will fight Cedric Alexander for the title in his home country. As much as I like AJ Styles, his title reign has been a bit underwhelming. The matches have been good for the most part, but the builds to set matches hasn't been the best. His feud against Kevin and Sami was a mess. The one against Rusev never felt like a championship program, and the Dream one against Nakamura really overused the low blow gimmick. Thankfully, the booking for AJ's most recent rivalry against Samoa Joe has been marvelous, and at SummerSlam, it was taken to the next level. Joe and Styles' match started slowly, but after ending the first third, it began picking up momentum. Both men delivered a quality performance, going for several big moves and getting some close calls from the Coquina Clutch and the Calf Crusher. Near the end, both men's selling of their exhaustion was superb, showing how important the title was to them. Joe tried to get under Styles' skin by talking trash at his family. This led to Styles reaching his breaking point and beating down Joe with a steel chair, ending the match in disqualification. I wasn't too happy with having a DQ ending at SummerSlam of all shows, but the way it was set up was so good, it got me even more excited for the future encounters between these men. "205 Live's title scene has been remarkable since WrestleMania, giving us some amazing matches. However, it isn't the only great thing about 205 Live. 205 Live's tag team division has been a fun diversion whenever the spotlight wasn't on the Cruiserweight title, but they never had must-see matches. This time, they tore the house down. For about 18 minutes, these teams went for huge spot after huge spot, making use of every move in their arsenal. Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik displayed their lucha libre style with many dives, moonsaults, and shooting star presses. Not to stay behind, Buddy Murphy and Tony Nese showcased their athleticism and strength with some fantastic counters and power moves, while also proving to work as a cohesive union. To end the match, Kalisto got himself involved, distracting Murphy just enough time for Metalik to hit a sunset bomb and get the win. This was an excellent example of all the potential a Cruiserweight tag team division has, and hopefully those titles rumored earlier this year materialize. This feud had quite a lot of hype a month earlier when Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler were scheduled to face each other in an Iron Man match. Unfortunately, things didn't work as expected at Extreme Rules. The booking was weird, the crowd was annoying, and I was disappointed at all the potential wasted. For their SummerSlam encounter, they went back to basics, with no extravagant stipulation, other than a returning Dean Ambrose joining Rollins in his corner. Under these circumstances, they managed to have their best match so far. The first half was fairly eventless, with only a couple of fun moments, and Ziggler applying some rest holds. The second half picked up when Rollins hit his comeback moves. From this point on, both men hit their signature moves, getting some great near falls. A zigzag, a leaping DDT on the ring apron, a reverse superplex followed by a Falcon Arrow, just to name a few, had the crowd on their feet applauding the action. In the end, Ambrose's presence was crucial to the match's outcome. He stopped McIntyre from getting involved, allowing Rollins to hit the stump and regain the Intercontinental title. It wasn't a match of the year contender, but it still was a wonderful opening contest that I personally believe was the best bout from SummerSlam. NXT introduced the North American Championship a couple of months ago, in one of WWE's best ladder matches in recent history. Since then, winner Adam Cole had a couple of defenses, but nothing too special or as part of a major feud. He didn't even have a match at TakeOver Chicago. He needed a serious challenger to give the belt some credibility, and he finally found one in the form of Ricochet. Their match was a battle between Cole's hellish tactics against Ricochet's unreal athleticism. Cole dominated most of the first half of the match, nailing several big moves and strikes, while also scoring some amazing counters, like his super kick to an upside-down airborne Ricochet. The one and only once again showcased what he's capable of, by seamlessly hitting a standing shooting star press, a Phoenix splash, a 619, and a picture-perfect dive. Ricochet closed the match by hitting a beautiful Hurricanrana to the outside of the ring, followed by the 630 splash. Despite not being a fan of the decision to take the title away from Cole, I had a blast with this match. It was exactly what the newly created title needed, and hopefully we see more title defenses just like this. Mustache Mountain and the Undisputed Era had two outstanding matches. One during the NXT UK tournament, and a rematch a couple of weeks later, which some consider a match of the year contender. This left the space for one final rematch in a bigger stage. At TakeOver Brooklyn, these teams repeated their magic, with a hell of a match with some great bursts of action to get the crowd fired up, alongside calmer moments when the Undisputed Era focused their attacks on Tyler Bates' knee. Having Bates play the babyface in peril gave Trent Seven an opportunity to shine the moment he got the hot tag. Strong and O'Reilly didn't stay behind, hitting some great moves of their own, and kicking out of everything Mustache Mountain threw at them, including the knee drop burning hammer combination. In the end, Strong and O'Reilly managed to get the win after catching Seven off guard. This was tag team wrestling at its best. Everyone looked like $1,000,000 afterwards, and the callback to their previous match when Seven teased throwing the towel was set up perfectly. NXT's tag team division did it once again, and with War Raiders joining the title scene, it will probably do it again at the next takeover. Before going to number 1, here are some matches that were great too. This was an entertaining bout, where Shayna once again dominated a lot of the action in what was arguably her best match since arriving to NXT, all while Kairi looked relentless and crafty on victory. Really fun main event with some impressive spots. Wish WWE let the Bludgeon Brothers have matches like this before Rowan suffered an injury. This was a great title defense that felt like a genuine breath of fresh air after having Brock Lesnar as champion for so long. Excellent way to start Roman's title run. This was an exciting match that mixed Ali's high-flying moves and Itami's strikes really well. The ending was quite unique, and hopefully will culminate with Ali rising to the division's top. While not nearly as special as their encounter at the UK tournament, this was quite good for the time given. Great way to warm up the crowd before TakeOver Brooklyn. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa once again topped this list, with yet another exceptional match with some extreme spots. Some of these spots were callbacks to their previous matches, but there were still some brand new ones, like Gargano's lawn dart right into the steel chair, Ciampa's fairy tale ending on the steel steps, or him crushing Gargano with a chair through the barricade. You could feel the animosity between these men whenever they were in offense, with Gargano's fury while striking a handcuffed Ciampa once again being the cause of his defeat. Ciampa's heel work keeps on impressing, and his celebration after the match ended was just the cherry on top of an amazing performance. I only have 2 nitpicks with this match. The first one is the amount of moments where the pace slowed down significantly, but that's what usually happens in last man standing matches. And the second one is the ending, which kind of felt like a rehash of TakeOver Chicago. Not to say there is anything wrong with that, but after main eventing the previous 2 takeovers, some fans have accused the rivalry of overstaying its welcome. Add to this Aleister Black's ill-timed injury, which resulted in Gargano vs Ciampa for the 3rd time in a row, and you can more or less see the problem. That's why it was the best decision to let this feud take a breather temporarily and give Gargano some time off. Overall, Despite not being able to reach the level of the matches that preceded it, Gargano vs Ciampa was another stellar match, worthy of main eventing NXT TakeOver and being August 2018's best match. That's all for now. Until next time. Thanks for watching.